Hello and welcome into Monday afternoon's edition of the Arizona State Sun Devils Insider Podcast. My name is Kevin Hicks and I'm your lead beat writer for Arizona State Sun Devils on SI and obviously your host for the Sun Devil Insider Podcast. And I am so grateful to be joining you once again today. We are in the midst of a bye week for the Arizona State football program after they kept their Big 12 title hopes alive with a 24-19 win over Iowa State on Saturday. Kenny Dillingham gave his team the week off. He did have his press conference earlier today, which a lot was talked about, and I will get to that very shortly. But before that, Monday night, Arizona State women's basketball starts the Molly Miller era with a game against Coppin State at Desert Financial Arena. That game will have been played by the time of this episode dropping. Arizona State men's basketball has a season opening game tomorrow night against Southern Utah, in which a team that only returns one player from last season will be looking to redeem themselves after a 13-win campaign the season before. And other big games this week as well. I believe Arizona State volleyball has a big conference game at Desert Financial Arena later in the week, and the hockey team returns to Mullet Arena later in the week for their first home game in a month. So, big week for Arizona State athletics, and I hope that Arizona State fans stay engaged with all the programs. We'll be doing a little bit about those other ones, but obviously right now it's football and basketball for the most part. But let's get into Kenny Dillingham's press conference. So there were three key areas that I really wanted to talk about. One, for starters, is the injury front. That is always going to be a huge topic of discussion amongst the Arizona State fan base, especially this season when injury fortune has not been optimal. Xavier Alford has been out for almost 2 months. Kyson Brown has been in and out of the lineup. Sam Levitt is now out for the season, as everybody probably knows. Jordan Tyson has been out for 2 games now. And Dillingham gave a lot of positive updates this week, so it sounds as if Tate Romney and Prince Dorba will both make their full returns against West Virginia, at least at this pace. Dorba has been on and off the injury report all season, pretty much. He did not play in the Iowa State game. He played in the Houston game last minute, but he exited that game as well. And missing the Iowa State game was probably a good idea for his long-term health. And the bye week probably lends him enough time to make a return. That's going to be great. Tate Romney making a return is going to be great, as he provides good depth alongside Martell Hughes behind the starting backers in Keyshawn Elliott and Jordan Crook. And Jordan Tyson, it sounds like his prognosis is more likely that he will be back for Colorado rather than West Virginia. But getting Tyson back at any time is going to be a positive development, especially if Arizona State is still in the hunt for a Big 12 championship game appearance. We will see this weekend. A lot will be answered as Brigham Young takes on Texas Tech. If BYU wins that game, Arizona State is looking mighty fine to make it back if they win their final 3 games. They obviously have other things that they have to go their way, but getting ahead of Texas Tech in the standings is probably the most important thing right now, and everything else will take care of itself later if that ends up being the case. So that's where we're going with that. It sounds like Alford is working really hard to get back, and it sounds like Dillingham didn't really shut the door on him coming back against West Virginia. I don't know if he actually will, but even the talk of it being a possibility is a big development there since he's been out for nearly 2 months, as I said. And on the negative front, it looks like Kyson Brown is probably on his way to missing the rest of the season. Dillingham didn't sound too definitive that he was going to be out the rest of the season, but his progress hasn't been as clean as they wanted it to be coming back from that ankle injury that he suffered against Mississippi State. So that's unfortunate. And it's unfortunate that Malik Brown has really had to carry the load running the ball lately, at least out of the backfield. So that's the main things I have from the injury front. And then the other 2 things that I really wanted to talk about a little bit were Dillingham's what he had to say about Sam Levitt and his future at Arizona State, and his praise for Rich Rodriguez. So let's talk about the Sam Levitt situation first. So he was asked when he's going to have that talk with Levitt about his future, whether it's going to the NFL draft, whether it's staying at Arizona State, whether it's transferring elsewhere. And he said he's going to give him some time to get back, recuperate from his surgery that he's going to have, I believe, this week. And then he'll have the talk with him that he has with every other player that has the potential to either depart to the NFL draft or to another school. Uh, my 2 cents in is that I believe that Levitt is going to stay. I think John Gambadoro tweeted out a couple of days ago, obviously a respected local insider, that he would expect Sam Levitt to stay as well. I just think there's too many factors going against Levitt to make the NFL jump a non-risky endeavor. I think everybody knows that Sam Levitt is an NFL caliber quarterback. He has the talent, he has the ceiling, he has the polish. There's just certain things that he needs to work on, mostly mechanically, and when it comes to processing the field, I mean, they're not major issues. They're not enough to make him a less than high level prospect. But since he's been playing most of the year injured and there's not a lot of accurate film out from this year, it's probably in his best interest to return, at least from my point of view. And I think that if he's a second round pick in this year's NFL draft or next year's NFL draft, he would probably be making more money in college off of NIL money than he would uh, as a rookie in the NFL. So I think it's in his best interest to return with Coach Kenny for another year, build up his draft stock once again, and be a first round pick in a 2027 class that is going to be pretty loaded. But he has potential to be one of the top prospects in all college football next season, no matter who else is in college. And that's really all I have to say with that. And I wanted to close off today's episode discussing Kenny Dillingham's praise for Rich Rodriguez. So I had the fortune of asking him a question about as if he had ever had the fortune of crossing paths with Coach Rodriguez and how much respect he had for him, essentially. And he said, yeah, Coach Rodriguez was really open, basically. He let me go down there and soak up information from the coaching staff. He opened doors for me like I opened doors for some of his guys, pretty much. There's a lot of mutual respect there from what I gathered. And he also was talking about how innovative Rich Rod has been when it comes to the triple option game, the read option game, the RPO game. And really was talking about how influential he has been for a generation of offensive coaches. That's kind of what I was trying to get at with my question, and he really broke that down very, very well. He talked about how you can notice the improvement in his West Virginia team from game one to now, and how much different of a challenge it's going to be. He was talking about how he can rally his team around him, and you see how hard those guys are fighting for the team and for coach. And it's going to be fascinating seeing Rich Rodriguez come back to Tempe for the first time since 2017, when he was fired as Arizona's head coach after the Territorial Cup loss to Arizona State. Coincidentally, Todd Graham was fired right after that as well. So Arizona and Arizona State have been on similar trajectories since then. They both made ill-fated hires in Kevin Sumlin and Herm Edwards, obviously, and now that he's at West Virginia, where he really started off his coaching career, really got off the ground there. It's going to be interesting because I really do believe this is a different West Virginia team that we're seeing now. I think Scotty Fox Jr. is probably the answer at quarterback. He hasn't made many mistakes, but he also hasn't faced a defense quite like Arizona State's yet. So it will be a fun matchup. Saturday, November 15th at 11 a.m. It might be one of the earliest kickoffs in the history of Mountain America Stadium. So make sure to get your tailgates going early. Make sure to make plans to arrive early in the day, because parking and traffic get pretty congested during game days, and it probably will be even more magnified to a greater extent due to the timing of the game. So make sure to plan accordingly. And that's really all I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I will probably have an episode discussing Arizona State men's basketball season opener against Southern Utah after the game on Tuesday night for Wednesday. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I will see you with that tomorrow.